Hello everybody, welcome to the NPTEL course on Retail Management. This is Dr. Shagata Chatterjee from VGSOM IIT Kharagpur who is taking this course for you. We are in week 1 and this is lecture 1, and in this class we will discuss about Introduction to Retailing. So, when we discuss about retailing, the first thing that we have to discuss is what is the definition of retailing. So, retailing encompasses the business activities involved in selling goods and services to consumers from their personal, family and household use. So, majorly you will see that we are focusing on certain terms here in this particular definition that I have written. So, the first thing that I am saying that you have to sell certain goods and services. It is not only goods. Oftentimes we have an idea that in most of the retail stores the products are sold. But service retailing is also an important factor, important component. It is becoming slowly growing, and I would say growing at a faster speed than product retailing, and we will discuss about this service retailing at a better depth. Now, whom do I generally sell? So, retailing is majorly focused to B2C customers. There are retails for B2B customers also, like Alibaba is a classic example of, let's say, e-commerce in the context of B2B. But majorly B2C is our focus. What is B2C? Business to consumer. What is business to consumer? That means there is a business which is trying to serve individual consumers, me, you and other people in the world. So, that is what the retailers generally do. Now, when I am saying that it will focus on the needs and wants and desires of individual consumers, that does not mean that it will only focus on that particular consumer's needs. It will not only, it will also along with individual or personal choices or personal preferences or personal needs, it will also focus on family, because oftentimes one single person do the purchases, majority of the purchases for their family. Oftentimes that person is also the bread earner of the family, and sometimes the household. Household and family we have defined separately. Family means some people, let's say it can be you, your wife, your kid, or some other people who are staying together, who are related in sometimes in terms of blood or sometimes in terms of marriage. On the other hand, household can be a little bit bigger. So, there can be more number of people inside an household, often applicable for, let's say, joint family concept, but there are multiple small families living inside a bigger joint family. Now, there retailer will probably focus on multiple such customers inside the house. That is why the household itself is a concept that becomes important in this case. It includes every sale to the final consumer. So, ideally retailing will focus on that final consumer. That particular consumer will not again sell it to somebody else. If that particular consumer sells it to somebody else again, then it is a B2B relationship. But here you are, and in that case you are becoming basically a supply chain person rather than a retailer. If you are selling somebody and that particular person is, let's say, a small grocery store owner, you are Big Bazaar, let's say, and he buys from Big Bazaar and sells it in his Kirana shop, then Big Bazaar is basically working as an intermediary. So, here we will also tell them at retailing, but in majority of the cases we will not define that as retailing. Though Big Bazaar will also focus on these consumers and will create strategies for these consumers who are basically not consumers, these customers who are basically selling the product to some other people. But in the context of retailing, we will try to avoid to focus on them. We will later part of time we will bring them in certain cases. Now, what are the major issues of retailing which we will be trying to answer in this course? So, the first major question that comes up is how can we best serve our customers while earning fair profit? So, everybody wants to do that. Everybody wants to earn some profit at the end of the day. But along with that, they want to serve their customer well. They want to do well for the customer. So we call it doing well by doing good. So you do something good and you will also do well in your life. So that is how will I make sure that happens. And what are the steps to do that? I have to answer the second question. How can we stand out in a highly competitive environment where consumers have so many choices? If consumers are choice, consumer are informed, consumer have, let's say, the less switching cost, then the consumer will very easily switch from me to somebody else. And if I am a retailer, then I have to remain competitive at every point of time, because if I not remain competitive, my competitors who are giving better offers or more lucrative offers, my consumers will go to them. Now, if that happens, then my profitability will go down. And if my profitability goes down, oftentimes retail is something you will know in the later part of this week, we will discuss about relationships. Retail often stands on relationships. So, one relationship lost will have probably 10 times more effect than one new customer that you acquire. So, you want to avoid that loss of customers, loss of loyal customers to be precise. So, how I will remain competitive enough so that that does not happen is the second question. Then what is the third? Low consumer confidence and high saving rates have reduced consumer spending. At the same time, retail competition have increased through increased format blurring, means certain formats like online and offline, let's say B2B and B2C, these are all getting blurred. Then if this is the case, then the competition is daily changing and the way you have to compete in the market is changing. Then how can we grow our business while retaining a core of loyal customers? That is also another question that we will be trying to answer. Now, next, after focusing on these questions, we will also talk about who are the 10 big retailers. Why we are talking about them? Because these are our classic examples that we will be following. The big retailers are generally successful. They have presence in multiple markets. And Indian market, at least it has been seen that Indian market often there are certain things which is indigenous. There are certain things which is very specific to Indian culture, system, etc. So we have to discuss that. But the urban market of India often follows whatever is happening in the Western market. So if we can follow certain big successful retailers in the Western market or in the developed market to be precise, then what we will be able to do is that we will also be able to create recipes for our for our conglomerates or for big retail stores inside our country. So some of the retail stores that we will be focusing on is Walmart. Walmart is full line discount store. They have super centers, they have membership clubs, we will focus on them. Then Kroger. Kroger is a supermarket. It's also sometimes it comes up with convenience stores and jewelry stores. So that is another important aspect. Costco is a very well known membership club. Home Depot is for home centers where you buy products which is related to your home. That means furnishings and sometimes anything that you require in your home day-to-day life, kitchen appliances and etc. Then some of the other names are Target. Target is one of the major competitors, I would say, of Walmart. Amazon.com is also one competitor that is coming up in this market. Now you see all these 10, probably Amazon is only one in this particular list who has come up as an e-commerce and now competing with brick and mortar stores. So originally retail stores were brick and mortar stores and Amazon was originally e-commerce. Now that demarcations are slowly getting blurred, as I just told in the last slide, but we have to focus on that. So Amazon.com is a web merchant. Then CVS Health is a drugstore where also things are coming up. Best Buy, I have not mentioned this name. Best Buy is a e-commerce. It's a brick and mortar store which is related to electronics, which is also something which is an important case study. We will talk about that a lot. So these are some of the success stories which we will try to follow in this retail management course, so that you will be able to copy, or you will be able to get inspired by certain strategies that they have taken, which one retail manager can take in his own retail store as well. Now, what is retail? This is a classic supply chain of retail, a typical channel of distribution. So, retail does what? Retail makes sure that the product or the services reaches to the final customer. So, there is a manufacturer, then there is a wholesaler, there might be wholesaler, distributor, dealers, blah 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 inside, and then there will be a retailer who will be the last point in the supply chain who will connect with the final customer. Now, this is a very easy detailed supply chain that I have drawn. In real life situation, supply chains are not looks like this. Supply chain probably will look something like this, but there are multiple brands are available and multiple retailers are available, multiple wholesalers are available. So, one retailer probably will source their products from multiple wholesaler, wholesaler 1, wholesaler 2, wholesaler 3, and these wholesalers can be of wholesalers of different brands. Let's say wholesaler 1 is the wholesaler of manufacturer A and manufacturer B, wholesaler 2 is for C and D, and wholesaler 3 is for E and F. Sometimes these clear-cut demarcations are also not there. Sometimes it might happen that wholesaler 1 gets it from manufacturer E and also manufacturer C. Similarly, wholesaler 2 also does it from manufacturer C and D. That means manufacturer C gives it to wholesaler 2 and wholesaler 3 both. So, that can happen. So, it is one-to-one relationship is not always possible. It might be case there will be one-to-many relationship, not only from retailer to wholesaler, wholesaler to manufacturer in this direction, but also in manufacturer to wholesaler and wholesaler to retailer in this direction. How? It is very easy to understand. Like for example, wholesaler 1, does he only give service to retailer, this particular retailer? He probably is giving service to multiple other retailers. So, there are a network that is there. This is one of the again simplest version of the network. It might be very cumbersome network that is there. And then retailer 1 is actually serving to customers of multiple brands, brand A, brand B, brand C, D, E, F, all the brands he is trying to serve. So, ultimately why manufacturers will be more focusing on this retailer? Because this retailer is the last point. So, all the information that you want to give to the consumer, all the communication that you want to pass to the consumer, you can do it through advertisement or targeted communication channel with the particular customer. But there you do not have control. If you want to have a controlled passage of information, controlled passage of benefits, controlled passage of promotional activities, then you have to probably rely on this last retailer, because he is the person who is serving the customers. But not only that, you have to also focus that let's say manufacturer A and manufacturer B both are YOLO, let's say they are competitors. Now they have to not only make sure that the wholesaler who is in the supply chain is positive towards him, he is giving better offers, better services, better kind of benefits towards the manufacturer. The manufacturer must also think that whether the retailer will also give better benefit to me than my competitor or not. Because if the retailer does not give the better benefit to manufacturer A versus manufacturer B, then ultimately I will lose the market, because the retailer is the last person who can convince, who can influence the consumer. So that's why in the supply chain, wholesaler, distributor, dealers, they are important, but they are important more in a cost perspective, that what kind of cost benefit they will give me. But retailer is important not only based on the cost perspective, but also based on the revenue perspective for the manufacturer. Because if retailer can sell a lot, then manufacturer can produce a lot, and that's how it makes money. So that's how this particular market works, and retailer has a very important role in this particular market. Now, next some minutes, let's say next 10-15 minutes, we will discuss about how this chain has changed in the context of multi-channel and omni-channel retail. What is multi-channel retailing? Multi-channel retailing means then when you have presence in multiple channels. So what are the various channels that are possible? The common sense, let's talk about. So one channel is brick and mortar. You can be in a brick and mortar store, which is a physical store. You can also be in smartphone apps like it is written there. You can be in website, which is, you can be in social media. You have seen now Facebook is coming up with their Facebook retail stores. Basically, people are posting pictures of houses, pictures of products. Sometimes they do it in the local store page under Facebook. Sometimes they don't do all those things. They have created their own page and they ask their friends to like that page, and then their friends through word of mouth ask some other people to like the page, and they post pictures of, let's say, beautiful dresses if it is a dress company, a dress entrepreneur I would say. Let's say they will put pictures of beautiful paintings if he is a painter. They will put pictures of various kinds of art and craft activities if he sells handicraft. So these kind of things they put. And then people ask in the comment that what is the price of this product. I have seen there are groups in Facebook which is related to homestays. There's a homestays, beautiful homestays in India. There are various visit places, vacation places where people go for vacation, and you have your own bungalow or something, and you put that. It's like an Airbnb inside Facebook. So you put up your pictures and etc. People like it and people ask for price, and then you go to the chat box and then chat with them, set up a deal, and they come to your house for spending the vacation. So retail is changing. Retail now, this is a service retail, and you are basically giving services to the end customer, and Facebook is the platform through which you are giving it. Ultimately, the consumption and etc. will happen inside your house, whichever you are renting it out for vacations. But the communication channel is Facebook. The conversation is happening through Facebook. Sometimes the payment is also happening through Facebook if they use the local store. So all I am trying to say here is there are multiple channels possible. Now, if you are giving services, if you are retailing your services or goods in these multiple channels, then you are a multi-channel company. In a multi-channel company, generally, the services may not be interconnected. The services that you provide, the information that you provide, the products that you sell in a brick and mortar store of your own company, and the services that you sell in the online store might not be in sync. If they are in sync, then that is called omnichannel. So omnichannel retailing is what a retailer sells to consumer through multiple retail formats, but when they are in sync, their information is in sync, their marketing activities are in sync, that is called omnichannel. Now, why that is important? Why slowly we are moving to multi-channel to a omnichannel? For example, let me give an example. When Walmart first came in, they were big retail stores. Then Walmart faced competition from other people. So Walmart came up with certain kind of online presence as well. And that the same thing did many other brick and mortar retail stores. But the problem is that these two have some specific advantages and disadvantages. We'll talk about that. What is the advantage and disadvantage of having a brick and mortar retail store versus an online retail store? In a brick and mortar retail store, you can probably connect with the person directly, but you have to rent out a big space. There are manpower costs. There were probably certain kind of geographical location based costs. On the other hand, there are stocking costs. You have to create your inventory as well. But in a online retail store, those kind of problems are not there. But at the same time, you cannot talk with the customer. The customer generally comes in your website, buys and goes away. So if these two places, there are different kinds of customers, there are different kind of customers comes and different kind of services are produced and different kind of costs of producing those services are there, then oftentimes it is probably making sense, initial phases at least, that you will keep the online retail store and the brick and mortar retail store as two separate entities under the same umbrella. But customers don't like that. Customers want that omnichannel presence. Customers want that whatever offer is available inside the store, I can also get that online. They do not want that just because they are buying it from online under the same brand name of, let's say, Walmart or Amazon or somebody else, they will miss out something. They don't want that. And that is where the omnichannel experiences, how I can bring in omnichannel experiences in multiple contexts, that challenge comes up. So what is omnichannel retailing? It is cross-selling across channel. So in-store product availability info on website. So you might get the in-store product availability information. So whether, let's say, you have searched something in the website, you found out the product, you compared the product with multiple other products and you like the product. Now you want to buy it, but before you buy it, you want to try it on. Let's say it's a dress. Then if the retail store says that, okay, I will give you the in-store product availability. So I have this many stores, you go to this store, you will get it. For example, if I am not wrong, Frank Ross, if you go and search in their website some medicine, then they will also get the information that in which store of Frank Ross this medicine is currently available. The inventory information is out. So you can go and buy from there. Then consistent pricing in all channels, which create credibility. This is also one feature of omnichannel, that whatever price I am paying inside the store, the same price I should pay in the website, irrespective of your cost. So if the retailer can manage that, that gives credibility. That shows that, okay, I am very clean. It's not like that you do not have enough information when you are coming to the retail store, brick and mortar store, and buying the product. You cannot search internet at that time, or probably it is difficult for you to do lots of comparison at that time. So that's why I will cheat you and sell you something at a higher price. No. If by chance a retailer get caught of doing that, the credibility will be lost forever. So that is also one kind of omnichannel experience that the retailer may be trying to create, that all the channels will have the same price. Similarly, they can buy and return product regardless of a channel. This kind of offerings are coming up. So oftentimes you will see Reliance, I have seen this in Reliance's case. You go to the Reliance's dress, I think Reliance Fashion or something like that. You go there, you try out a product, you like the product, but that certain size is not available. You might require one size extra. Let's say you are M and you want an L. Now that L1 is at that particular moment is not available. So what they will do is that you don't have to buy from here. You buy it from Agio. So Agio you buy it from and it gets delivered at your home. Now once you tried in Agio at your home, all of a sudden you found, so this is an omnichannel experience, the one that I just told. Now once you have tried this Agio at your home, all of a sudden you felt that no, this is not good, I might want to return it. Now you might not want to again go to Agio's website and create this thing, because this particular Reliance Trends store is in between the path of your office going. So what you do is you pick up this particular dress, and while going to the office you drop down in Reliance Trends and drop it off, and you say that this is returned. You process the return, please. You at least accept that the product has been handed over to you, and then it take 2-3 days time to process the return. So this is an omnichannel experience. If this can be created and some part of that is already there, this is an omnichannel experience where the e-commerce and the brick and mortar store is in sync with each other. I can buy it from anywhere, I can get delivered anywhere, I can return it from anywhere, irrespective of whether I am doing one job in brick and mortar and another job in online or not. So that kind of facility should be there, which is an omnichannel retailing. Why it is important? Because each channel will have different roles, as I just told, the advantages and disadvantages. Each channel will have different roles. So store generally what kind of roles it has? You know that when you go to a store, you can try the product. You can touch the product. So you can basically have a feel of the product. It is also easy to return. because you do not have to wait of processing. You do not have to basically think about whether the money will at all come back or not when I'm doing the return. The availability is fast. There is an immediacy. You can just go and collect. So let's say tomorrow is Durga Puja, let's assume, and today evening, you all of a sudden you found out that you have not bought any dress. You were very busy in your office work and you forgot to buy any dress for the Durga Puja celebration, and tomorrow is Durga Puja. You have to go out for pandal hopping with your friends and etc., and you do not have a choice. Or let's say tomorrow is an interview and you do not have a dress, you do not have a shoe. Oftentimes it used to happen with us when we were in college days, and now your friend is saying that no, I will not give my shoe to you. He is also staying with you in an hostel, and he's saying that no, I will not give you my shoe because I also have an interview. What will I do? So now you need a shoe at that particular evening, and because your interview is in the next day. So where will you go? You will go to a brick and mortar store. You will not order online, because online order will not come overnight. So whenever this immediacy is there, you will probably go to a store. You can also compare offerings if it is not very informative thing. Means if it is, there are lots of information that you have to compare. Like let's say compare one car versus another car. It is better to do it in a online environment. But test driving one car versus another car, or let's say the feel of the leather coverings of your car seat, you might want to do that in a brick and mortar store. What kind of advantages a web store will give you? It will give you 24/7 product information. Information is very important, and availability round the clock is another important thing. You can buy it at any point of time and you will get lots of information. You can also get product reviews. You can listen to other people. Positive word of mouth is an important information that we'll get in online sector. Personalization, you can customize it as per your requirement. You can add or subtract or create filters and etc. Most current pricing, which is also part of information, you will get. Closeout sales, you will get an information about that. Catalog is generally permanent, and you might get to know the true color of this thing. So these are some of the things which are advantages and disadvantages of stores. So given these advantages and disadvantages of stores, there is a concept called webrooming and showrooming that will come up, where people actually behave in such a way such that they combine these two benefits. They try to behave in such a way such that they will take the benefits of web also, benefits of stores also while doing this decision. And that makes omnichannel experience further more important in a retail context. So in the next lecture, I will be discussing on webrooming and showrooming. Thank you very much. See you in the next lecture.